Hello, welcome back to Management 150 Introduction to Business Math, totally online, offered by Harper College and yours truly, Dr. George Mochocki or Dr. George. Okay, what do we have this week? We're going to have 3 chapters this week, 3 or 4. I think I did chapter 9 last week, but I just added in here for those of some of you are running behind. Okay, how are we doing? Most of you are at B's and A's. Excellent for an online class. I think this class has, 10 or 15 students, give or take. Here's what happens. Those of you that are getting B's, you're getting B's because you haven't been doing the discussion board. Last week, you had 2 discussions. Surfed a web and then a problem. You won't see anyone else's, even with this week, you won't see anyone else's posted in the discussion board until you do your first post, and then you have to reply to others. Some of you have waited to the end or have not done the discussion at all. That's a loss of 50 points. Or you posted way at the end, the last date for the discussion board, and you don't get to 50 points. You may only get 30. You only did 1 posting. Now look how much you posted. Some of you posted very little. It's $50. Would I give you $50 for what you did? Look at the 50 points as academic currency. This is a math class, a finance class. Some of you already taken me for finance, so you know where I'm going forward with this. What you're learning in this basic math or introduction math is so when you take accounting, you know how to do the problems. You understand conceptually what's going on. You also will, when you take me for finance, you already went with, like today, we're going to be talking about payroll. That's all part of finance. How much do I pay? What are the rates? How much do I pay overtime? What do I do for the deductions? The other thing, simple interest. And the example and the discussion board will be talking about straight commission or partial commission. Some of you work on a commission. You get a flat salary. That's the basic, just for you to show up, and then to motivate you, you're working on a commission, straight interest, a simple interest. How much commission? I did $100 worth of work at 10%. $10 is mine. Come on, is that correct? Do you see where I'm coming from? So you have to know how to do that. Now, when you go to finance, you're going to take the simple interest, but then you have other variables included. You're looking at the time, you're looking at the taxes, you're looking at other things that what they call simple and nominal interest. But right now, let's just work with simple interest at what you have here. All right? Then you're looking at promissory notes. The next chapter 11, promissory notes. What are promissory notes? IOUs, discount notes, the discount process. Remember, what you're learning here is how a business discounts either goods or some of their IOUs, for lack of better words, to get a cash flow, to improve on their cash flow. I don't have to take out a loan. I discount something, people give me the money at a discounted rate, and that discounted rate will be less than what I'd be taking out if I take a loan for 14%. Depends how much I discount it on, okay? And then when I look at present value, compound interest. What's compound interest? Look at your charge card. Those of you who have never charged, you have a charge card, and I'm going to stop charging. I'm just going to pay off. But if you're only paying off the minimum amount, you're only paying off a certain percentage on your principal. That's what you owe, and a certain percentage on your interest. But your interest could be higher than what your minimum payments are, because you're paying half and half because of the rules and condition. So it says, hey, I haven't charged anything, but I'm doing, it's going to take me 20 years or 10 years or 15 years to pay off $3,000, because if I owe an interest and it's 20% and my minimum payment is only paying 10% of that interest, what happens to that other 10%? I owe it. It's like me doing a purchase. So then now when I take my interest, for lack of better words, let's talk about simple interest, that's going to be compounded. I take that 110 $100, and then I paid off the minimum amount, so I dropped down to $90, but I still owe 10% off the 100. I take the 90 times the 10, and I multiply that against whatever if it's a credit card or if it's a loan, against my simple against the amount that for lack of better words, that I owe. And so now it's compounded. So next month, what is it? I start off with $100, but I only paid the minimum, and I got to 10 and 20. So I'll never get out of the hole. You have to pay more than what the bank is telling you to pay. They're not doing anything wrong. Look, you've already paid off your principal maybe about 5 years ago, 2 years ago. They're making money on the interest, because now if you're paying late, you get a late charge on there. It's a late charge $50, like you purchasing something for $50, $20, $30, depending on the late charge provisions you have with the bank you're looking at. So this course here, when you're going to find this, we go into a little more detail. What I want you to do is start looking, the numbers and everything else that Slater and the other writers are trying to get you to understand the math, not just how come my bill is so high? Work backwards. Did they change my interest rate? Did they change the terms of condition? Did I get any late charges? If I'm late on a credit card, what happened when I'm late? I got 0%. Minute I'm late, it goes up to 16%. You should, whoa, what happened? How much is that 16%? It may not be that noticeable because you're only paying the minimum amount. Always have to look, just like you would at work. You get the bill, see what changed. What's my interest rate? What happened? Is there a late charge? Is there, how's it calculated? That's why this course is so valuable, not only for you that you need for accounting, but it's also valuable when you do finance or for your personal. If you look at Slater, if you look at the book on here, they always have a personal financing section. I'll bring this up because a lot of times people don't see. Look, a lot of students only do the homework that they have to do. They don't look further. I know there's a lot of work in here, but Slater does a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff that helps you, information, financial, to get out of the hole. Or you're going to pay somebody, a financial advisor, of certain percentage, or some of this, if you understand, you won't get into that situation. All right? So remember, make sure you do that. There's two forms. There's one is a math chat. You have to look. I only have 4 people. Easy 5 points. You can say, I got no question. You go in there. It's like, I know you're still understand, you have no issues. Dr. George, I have no question, 5 points. You lost 5 points. That's no different than if you don't take pay your notes on time, or you don't take the discounts as required in a fashionable manner. You lose those money. You lost $5. $5, well, that's not much. You keep on losing $5. You didn't do the discussion board. You lost $50. Remember, to learn smart, do them on time. Some individuals on your exams, the exam just stopped. I couldn't get back in. The exams are open from Wednesday, and they close at Saturday. I still got a grade. Some of them I had to do a manual grading. I still had to, I'm at the other end. You do the homework on a certain time. I am the supplier that will give you your grade and certify that your homework is done properly. I have to make sure, just like my accounts receivable, I have to make sure you do it at a certain time. I set time aside to do all the papers. Otherwise, if you turn it in late, I take points off. The exam, the exams are timed. Now, when I say timed, is basically you finish it. You can't just stop the exam like you do to Learn Smart. The minute you stop the exam, it's over with. You can't go back in. It's an exam. It's like I looked at the exam. I came back. Oh, wait a minute. I got to go back. I'll come back in 2 days after I research all that. That's not how it works. The Learn Smart homework, you could stop, come back. The exams, once you start them, you have to finish them. You've got 180 minutes. That's 3 hours. How? 3 times 60, 180 minutes. It's a math class. Start thinking. You guys are doing well. I want you to, you should be getting A's and B's. But what's telling me? I have no D's. I have no C's in this class. You're doing great. This week we only have 3 chapters, okay, and then you have the exam. I was going to do the exam after each chapter, but I kind of like this break. You're doing well on the exams. Do well. Okay, so let's see what we have for this week. So this week we're going to come in here, okay, so we're going a weekly assignment. I will have this open, And then when you open up, you have my YouTube. If you haven't looked at it, always look at these short things. Just tells you what you're doing right or wrong. You have your Learn Smart, 90 points there. Those you could come in and leave. Don't wait till last minute, because then you're knocked out, and then you have to ask for mercy or an extension from me. I usually will give the extension, but not every week, because that's extra work for me. I give you an extension to get some points. I take points off. That means I have a time set aside to grade all your papers. You have a time you have to set aside. This is an online class. Just look at it every Tuesday night. When I'm home, I will do my online work. Every Wednesday, I'll check up to do some of my discussion boards, or I do it during the daytime, a little at a time. But I'm very proud of this class. Your B's and A's. I want to see all A's here. Come on. This isn't that bad. And remember, the stuff you learn here is also information that helps you in your own financial, personal finance. This is a great book. Easy. Once you go take me for finance, and you could ask, there's a student in the class, Brandon, ask him how was finance. Finance was a little more, it takes you for that next level, but now you know the basics, okay? So you have your next exam. What I've done this one, I opened up a little bit earlier because I got some of my achievers that want to finish it. All right. I usually open by Wednesday. Let's see what happens. I'll see how many takers I get. I want you to do the homework. Some already completed the Learn Smart for here. Remember, don't wait till the week opens up. You could always do your Learn Smart connection. You click on here, and I have them for the whole week. And same the exams. I just have to open them up a little bit. I think exam 2. 100.79 November 5th. I'll try to adjust that so you could open a little bit earlier. But I don't want you to just take your best guess on the exam. Read the book, easy chapters. All right? All right, so now let's see what we have here. This week we have one discussion board, so let me go back in my weekly assignment, and I'll end. Just real quick, okay? So this will be open, and you go into your weekly assignments. You have a discussion board, 50 points. You're going to have two problems. You can answer them simultaneously, or you could do one now, maybe by Wednesday, and then do the other one just in the subject area. This is problem 2. This is problem 1. And surf to save, problem 1 on commission. When I'm looking at some of us, bonuses or commission, it's another way. So look at that one. Solve the commission. There's a website you're going to go on there, and you're going to go in here, and you're doing a problem, and it's going to ask you about the pros and cons. Just give me a little. Just don't give me one. I think it's good. I don't think it's good. Come on, this is a discussion board. At least give me a paragraph for each. Okay? Would you be comfortable working solely in commission? Why or not? Remember, that means no base pay, no customers, no money. Look at a commission if you are a waiter or waitresses. Some of those individuals work strictly on tips. Another form of commission. If I'm nicer to people, they tip me more. But they're not required. Most people, you figure about 7% is what you should tip somebody. An average of the bill. That's kind of hard to figure out. How am I going to figure out how much are taxes? If you're in Lake County, maybe 6% total taxes. If you're in Cook County, 7/8. So look at the taxes, and then you have a good indicator. Here's the taxes. Give them a little more than the taxes. At least they able to pay the taxes. And because it's a percentage. I think in Lake County it's like 6%, 7%, and in Cook County maybe 8%. So you're not sure? Look at the bill. Here's the taxes. Add your commission on that, or your, if you lack a better word, your tip. Okay, so we have that. So, and then the other problem you're going to do is refinance the car. I'm trying to do these homework discussions, these these problems are for you to look up to help you in your personal finance. This is business math. It prepares you. Remember, you're looking at this from a personal perspective. I got to refinance a car. Businesses have leasing options. Businesses buy cars also, or their fleet. When do I turn it over? When do I finance it? Should I buy the car outright? Should I lease the car? Most businesses will lease the car. After 2 years, they'll turn around because now you got bumper to bumper for 3 years. I don't have to have a mechanic. I don't have to worry about something happening. It's covered. Does the oil change, does everything else. I just take it in. You know what I mean? And before it hits the 3 years, I turn in my lease car. Do you see where I'm looking? If you're looking just on the cost, it's lower. What does it cost? But now the flip side, if I own the car, I may pay it off in 3 years. Now I have this vehicle maybe for 2 more years that will give me good service and no problem, but then I have to pay the maintenance and on that. But then I don't have a bill. I don't have a lease bill. So now you're looking, why should I lease? Why should I, for lack of better words, buy outright? You have to look at that. The bottom line is how much cash flow I have. How much taxes do I do? It's better off to sometimes lease because that's an expense versus owning something. But you have to figure that out. So the next one is for the car. And then if I look at the other thing. You have one I didn't go because I know there's a lot going. You got an exam and I wanted you to think through. But the other one is how do I invest money? Compound interest. When I'm looking at compound interest from a credit card, flip it around and look at compound interest, me investing in a CD or an IRA. Here they talked about commercial deposit. Higher than the interest rate, APR, higher than on my, for lack of better words, on my bank savings or my Now account. Why is it higher? Because I can't take it out for 6 months. So the bank says, I'll give you a higher rate. You won't yank it out like you say your checking account. So now I could use that money and lend it to somebody because I'm not worried. I'm paying you 6% higher because you told me I'm not going to touch it for 6 months. I'm charging Joe or Josephine 16% or 12%. I'm making money on that. But if you take it out, I got to take a loan to replenish that because I promised them that money. I'm excited, but I want you to understand. You see what I'm talking about? So when I'm looking at compound interest, you're looking in the future. I want to have $100,000. I want to have $1 million when I'm retired. How do I do? I take the $1,000,000 million and I work it backwards. That's the present value I want there, and I bring it backwards. I discount it back to here, and I say if I could get something for 6% or 3%. And how much do I got to put now at 3%? And don't touch that money. Not going to be $1 million. You'll be surprised. It may be like 30,000, but then in 10, 20 years, I got $1 million because it adds up. You don't touch it. Interest on interest, and it adds up. Compound interest in your favor. That's why they call annuities. What's an annuity? So now I look back. I say I want $1 million. I put, and I'm just making up the numbers real quickly. So work it backwards, depending on the interest rate. You have your financial calculator. You look at net present value, put it in there, tells you how much you had to put in now and for how many years. And then when you reach your age, depending, you could have it in 20 years, 10 years, you just put more or a higher interest rate. And that's how you do it. You work it backward. The other flip side, you have to say, in 20 years, will $1 million be similar? Will it give me the same purchasing power? That's the finance when you come to me. The author talks a little bit about that, but just so you understand. And then we go into chapter 12. Is basically, chapter 12, investment options. Where do I put my money in? Do I put my money in a CD? Do I put my money in IOU or IRA? All these are helping. Like I said, when I'm looking at the personal finance helps you to see it in a personal life. When you're going to take me or another instructor in finance, it's finance. You're all chief financial officer. You all understand finance. We just do it in larger numbers. I have not one car, I have 20 cars. I don't have one rent, I have 5 rents. Got different offices. Which one gives me the best value? And sometimes the rent's going to be higher because of the area I'm in, because of the CPI we talked earlier, Consumer Price Index. Kind of like it costs a bit more to live in New York than it does in Alabama. Why? More people, more resources needed. I mean, there's only so many resources, like apartments or anything else, so they could charge a higher rate. Okay, so all this helps you. You're doing great in this class. For those of you who had any kind of concern, I don't know if I'll do well on an online math class, you're doing excellent. Utilize the instructors' videos. Remember, they always have the videos. You could click on there and connect. Go and see the videos. They have the Excel spreadsheets. They have tools. You could go financial calculator, when you're doing the Learn Smart and you're going for the exam, utilize the refresh option. It'll ask you questions that you have difficulty in solving. Once you solve those questions, the ones you got easy, you know how to add, you know how to do simple interest, they're going to ask you many questions. You're going to go to the hard one. You may have problems with compound interest to understand how that works. It just builds up on it. I got $10, interest came up $10. Now the next month I got 101, 110. The next month I may have 120, and it multiplies similar to your credit card. So remember, when you're doing your credit card, pay it off more than the minimum, and you'll do well. All right, so anyway, I'm very happy with all of you. I just want you to know you have in here the videos. Those of you who want to go and connect, sometimes you may be at home, you can click on here, even though the last editions, you still had the same video links. You could click on there. I told you how to open up at the beginning. Most of you are utilizing it. We had the Word document that had all the links for the newer version. You have the PowerPoints from old editions. This is I lend these out to one of my about 5 years ago. Somebody said before we had Connect, Learn Smart, all the interactive. So I had the PowerPoints with the arrows, and the instructor said, "Hey, could I utilize them?" I said, "Sure." We share. She utilized them. She adjusted them, made them even more intuitive, and that's why in here. So when you pop up, you'll have the other instructor. The PowerPoints have been modified, and then you're up and running. So you have all the tools. Try not to do it all at once. Remember, look at every point that I give you as academic dollars. $50 for a discussion board, you come in and talk. You don't talk, your grade goes down. You want to get out of this class as an A. That's what I want you to strive for. B is okay. For some of you, something may happen, or a math's not here, but you're doing well. I got B's and A's. I'm proud of you. I want to bring everyone up, but remember, try to do a little bit at a time, and I enjoyed listening to you. The last discussion board, it was you had by Wednesday to post something. Same here, do your homework, read it, do your homework. What I wanted to do, I kind of laid back and seen how people would communicate. Remember, you won't see the discussion board till you reply to my post, and then it's open to you. You can see how others look at them, give them some ideas. Say, hey, I didn't think about this. Hey, next time, do you think you come in here? Or if you see the wrong answer, her answer and his answers are different, you're going to say, what did I do wrong? I want you to identify it. That's how you learn math. You identify it. Which one is correct, his or mine? And I'll, at the end, always chime in. I'm always monitoring. The other discussion, the water cooler one, if you don't have any questions, still monitor. You could help somebody out. Or you may not thought about the question, they're helping you. Are you okay? You're doing well. I'm very proud of this class. Keep up the good work. Remember, this is week 3, which in reality would be week 6. You already remember, because this is a 16-week course condensed to an 8-week. All right, I'm going to keep it quiet. I'm done. I'll see you in the discussion board. I'll be monitoring the discussion board. I add in when I think I need to add in. Help each other out. Keep up the good work. Start work. Your week 6. Before you know, this class will go like this, and then you'll be in my finance class if you haven't had me yet. Sometimes I'll teach this class online, so you already know my format, how I work. Have a little more information. But right now, the author's excellent book. Utilize your Learn Smart, do your homework, do your discussion board, so when you're going at the end for the final exam, you have maximum points. Worst case scenario, if you're an A, you'll get a B. Worst case scenario, if you don't do well on the exam, because we're 200 points, like 50% of the grade, you'll just drop down to a C, but you're not going to drop down to an F, because you're at a B and A. So I want you all at that A, so when you go to the final, it's a good cushion. You have a good basic understanding. And remember, there's no final exam, just the last 4 chapters, just at the work twice as much. All right. So again, I'll see you in the discussion board or on in the hallways. Students always stop by and talk to me. Some I know, some if I had your previous class, hey, Dr. George, it's me. I had you, blah, blah, blah. I've got you on online class. Or the first time you see me, I've got you. Hey, I'm Sally. I'm whatever, and I enjoy your class, or finally being able to see you. And I'll see you in the discussion board. Have a nice week. This is real good, interesting stuff, not that hard. You'll do well again. And you'll have your next exam coming up. All right? Bye. 24 minutes. I'm getting better.